This time on Camp Outside, we take a look at the TIDRadio TD-M11 waterproof FRS radio. Check it out. Guys, these are awesome. Hey guys, I'm Kevin with Camp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. Today we're going to do a review on the FRS radio from TIDRadio, the new one, the TD-M11. And guys, I'm super excited about this because I love new radios and I love it when companies send me radios to test. So I want to thank TIDRadio for sending these to me. Guys, let's start talking about FRS. So FRS is the family radio service. And guys, what's awesome about the family radio service is that you do not need a license to operate. So if you are aware of our channel and have been watching for a while, you know we're doing a whole video series on outdoor communications, right? We want to make sure that you have the right communication devices to be able to communicate with your family or your group, or in case of an emergency, to either call for help or respond to a call for help. We want to make sure that you have the right gear for that, because when you're outside, oftentimes we're in a lot of places that don't have cell phone signal, and I imagine that as you travel and get outside, you're going to be in places that don't have good cell phone signal as well. So you're going to need to have a comms plan and some comms gear to make sure that you can communicate. And so that's why we're doing this whole video series on outdoor comms. And so guys, we've done reviews on ham radios, GMRS radios, marine VHF radios, MERS radios, and we've done FRS, and this is an FRS radio. And so, like I said, guys, it doesn't require a license to use it. It doesn't cost a fee. These are basically plug and play radios where you just turn them on, you press the button, you start talking, and you're good to go. So that's a great reason to have FRS radios. Now, there are some downsides, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but first of all, I thought we would just dive right into these. So these are the TD-M11 by TIDRadio. And for me, they came in a set, so you get two of them. So guys, I'm gonna put a couple links down in the description below where you can pick these up. And one of them will be an Amazon link. The other one will be a link to the TIDRadio website. If you use my link to purchase, it doesn't cost you anything extra. It's a great way to support Camp Outside as we get a little commission on the sale. If you use the promo code KEMPOUTSIDE on the TIDRadio website, you get, I think, 10% off. So if you want to order directly from them, cool. If you want to order from Amazon, cool. Either way, if you're looking for some FRS radios, these are some good ones. So let's take a look at them. First of all, they're a unique shape. So I'm used to a lot of radios that are more cube-like, where these are wide and flat, you know, which is fine. They have a belt clip that is easily disconnected. So if you want something really slim that you can just slide in your jeans pocket or your shorts pocket, these are really nice for that. But if you want a belt clip, it's really easy. They just go on, and then got to get the lanyard out of the way. They just clip up at the top. So really easy. They do come with lanyards, and I put lanyards on all of my radio or wrist straps. The reason I do that is because sometimes I put these in the hands of kids. Like if they're going to go to the bathroom at the campground, I want them to have a little radio so they can call if they need to, or I can get a hold of them. And my thought is that if this goes on the wrist, then chances are that's going to come back when they do. Last thing you want to do is go off and go looking for a radio that the kid just set down and then forgot. So I like wrist straps. Your mileage may vary, so feel free to use them or not use them. What else does it come with? Well, it comes with a user manual. And guys, these are pretty easy to use. I don't know why you'd spend much time looking at a user manual, but you can if you want. They come with two USB charging bricks and two USB-A to USB-C charging cables. And guys, this is one of the things that I love about the radios that TIDRadio is putting out now, is that they are putting out radios that are all USB-C rechargeable, which means if you want to carry this, fine, but oftentimes what I do is I have a USB brick that I can charge 6 radios at one time, so I just take the cord, plug it in, and I can charge a whole bunch of these at once without carrying a whole bunch of charging cradles. So I love that. Let's go over the radio itself. If you notice, right, when you look at it, it looks like it doesn't have a screen, but it does.
Turn on the radio.
So when you turn it on, you can see that it does have an indicator, a channel indicator, a battery indicator, and then a power level indicator, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. It has a simple knob on the top. That's your volume knob and on off. It has a push to talk switch on the side. PTT stands for push to talk. That's the button you press to communicate. And then right below the PTT is a channel up and channel down button. And so you can hit those to change the channels.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Right, so it tells you what channel you're on verbally. There is a weird thing about that though, guys. So it does count, as you can hear.
16.
16. Now listen.
17.
17. It goes from 13, 14, 15, 16 to 17.
18.
18.
19.
19. And at 20, it beeps. Doesn't say 20. I don't know why.
21.
21.
22.
22.
1.
Back to 1. So there's 22 channels in FRS. 1 through 7 and 15 through 22 are considered high power channels on FRS, which means they are allowed 2 watts of transmit power. And channels 8 through 14 are low power channels, which means they are capable of a half a watt. And so when you are in channels 8 to 14, you'll see that it goes from high power to low power.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
By giving you that little L on the display there for low power, right? So just keep that in mind. So 8 to 14 are low power, 1 through 7 and 15 to 22 are high power, so it's a difference of a half a watt or 2 watts. Now guys, this is where FRS is a little bit lacking, right, as a radio service. So these are short range communication devices. Guys, if you are on flat level ground in a wooded area, you are not going to get a lot of distance out of these. If you're up on a mountain ridge transmitting down into the valley below, you might get a lot of range, right? Because elevation is key for line of sight transmissions. But that's kind of the point of FRS. If you want farther transmit, you're going to have to get into more advanced radios. These are very simple to use radios for short distance communications, right? So one of the things that makes FRS is the low transmit power, as I said before. So in GMRS, which is a license-based service, so you have to have a license to operate on GMRS, and GMRS uses the same frequencies as FRS. So if you have GMRS radios, you can communicate with these no problem. That's not a big deal. But your GMRS radio with a better antenna and more transmit power is going to probably cover more ground, more distance than these guys. So these guys are limited on power. They're also limited to small, non-detachable antennas. And so the antenna is the most important part of your radio. The better your antenna and the higher it is when it comes to line of sight communications, the farther you're going to be able to communicate. Because you can't detach this antenna and put on a more powerful antenna or attach a cable to it and put an antenna up in a tree or something where it's higher up, you're going to be very limited on your range. So just be aware of that. But that doesn't mean FRS radios are bad. As a matter of fact, I think these are great for a couple of uses. Let me give you a couple of use cases that you might experience at the campground or outside. So a great use for these is if you are with someone who's backing a camper into the camp spot. Guys, rather than having the windows down and yelling at each other, why don't you each get a radio and then tell them, hey, keep coming back. You're 5 feet from the tree, cut left, cut right, stop, back up a little more, a few more feet, whatever it is, right? With radios, it's so much easier than yelling over the engine of the truck and that kind of thing. So highly recommend that. Another way that these are great is, let's say you and some friends or family are fishing around a lake, right? And so you might be on one side of the lake and they might be on the other side, and you can see them, but you are too far away to yell to communicate, even though sound travels on water. Line of sight communications with something like this works great, so that you can say, hey, how's the fishing over there? Should I come over there? Should I stay here? I'm killing it over here. Found a good spot, whatever, I'm on the move. That's another great use case for FRS radios. The other one that I already mentioned is when your kids are going to the playground or they're going to the bathroom and you don't have decent cell phone signal, or maybe your kids don't have cell phones yet. Putting one of these on their wrist is a great way to keep them in communication with you, so that you can call them back to camp when it's time to eat or it's time to go do something, whatever it is. You have some pretty reliable communications. Where these don't work so well is, like, say on a hiking trip where you and your group are going to be spread across several miles, or anything over a mile. And guys, getting a mile's worth of range out of this thing is pretty generous. I mean, that's, most of the time it's going to be significantly under a mile. So if you're going to be spread out, among people with, a significant distance in between, you may have to have people relay signal to get from one end to the other. And so if you are going to need reliable communications beyond a half mile or so, you're going to want to look at more sophisticated setups for your radio comms. But in general, guys, if you just want communications around the campsite, or you want communications, around the fishing lake or whatever, these FRS radios are great. So specifically about the TD-M11, why do I like it? Well, I have messed around with a few FRS radios, and one of the things that I feel like is that a lot of them are just really cheaply made, right? They just kind of try and pump them out, and you get them for 10 to 20 bucks a radio, sometimes less, and they last a little while, and then you're throwing them away. These, I think, are a pretty high quality radio for, the FRS service. One of the things I absolutely love is that they're waterproof, right? These are IP65 rated, so you don't have to worry if you get caught out in a rainstorm. If this is clipped to your pack, your hiking pack or something like that, and you forget and it's getting rained on as you're hiking through a rainstorm, getting splashed with water is not going to hurt this thing. If you drop it in a puddle, it's probably not going to hurt it. I love the fact that it's IP65 waterproof rated. Not only do you have the channels 1 through 22, you can also receive NOAA weather radio, which I really like on these things. And so in addition to the short press up and down on the channel buttons, so if you long press the channel down button, it'll activate NOAA weather radio.
Issued at 1:46 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Tonight, southwest winds around 5 knots, becoming a sleep this evening and overnight. Bay and 2.
So it'll go through all 11 NOAA weather channels. So depending on where you are,
5.
NOAA weather radio will be broadcasting on
7.
one of these channels. And you might pick up one with a weak signal and one with a stronger signal,
8.
like if you're in between two broadcast stations.
9.
But for me, where I'm at, channel 1 is the closest
11.
station. So there's 11,
1.
Back-
Water smooth.
back to 1.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Friday, east wind.
So long press the channel down button and it goes back to your FRS channels, whichever channel you were on last. So really, really cool. As you can see, when I was playing the NOAA weather, the radio is pretty loud. It's got a pretty good speaker. As it's turned up, it does kind of overmodulate a little, but as you turn the volume down, it's very, very clear, very easy to hear the audio. It's not a bad speaker at all. A couple of other things. So on the other side of the radio, right down below, here is the USB-C in. Right, so it's right there. And up top here, it has the Kenwood K1 style connector where you can plug in either a speaker mic or one of those headsets, so you can use that as your way of communicating. So if you just had this clipped on your pack and you had a little wire up to a headset or something like that, you wouldn't have to keep holding this up to your face, which is great. Guys, these are really simple radios, and that's how FRS is designed. So I can't do a power output test. If you watch my radio test, you know that I oftentimes test for spurious emissions and I test for power output. Because this does not have a detachable antenna, I can't do any of those tests. So I can't tell you what the power output is. TIDRadio does report that on the high power channels it puts out 2 watts. On the low power output channels it puts out 0.5 watt. Again, I don't have any way to test that. My guess is it's probably pretty close to those numbers. Very rarely do radios test, specifically spot on, and I think in the literature it says, it transmits less than or equal to, that amount. And typically a radio will transmit a little bit different in terms of power output depending on the channel. So, but either way, I don't think it's really going to matter that much. Whether it's transmitting, 1.8 watts or 2 watts or whatever. So I wouldn't worry about that. Also, again, there's no way to determine whether or not this radio puts out spurious emissions. It is operating in the 460 megahertz range, 462 megahertz. So I wouldn't worry too much about spurious emissions. As a matter of fact, in general, I only worry about spurious emissions on the 2 meter band and the 1.25 meter band in ham radio. The regulations, especially when covering ham radio, are not as clear on spurious emissions in the 400 megahertz range as they are in the 146 or 222 megahertz range, because the rules say that spurious emissions need to be reduced to the lowest extent practical, I think is the language, but I'm sure somebody in the comments will correct me. So there's not even a specific pass-fail criteria for that. So I wouldn't worry about spurious emissions with these radios. One, you're not broadcasting enough power, and then number 2, you don't have a super high efficient antenna. And as you get higher up, spurious emissions, I think, are a little less concerning. So anyway, take that for what's worth. It's just my opinion. There are some more advanced features with these. You can do some Bluetooth programming with them and that kind of thing. But quite honestly, guys, I don't think any of that is really all that useful or needed in an FRS radio, so I'm not even really going to cover that. It's not important to me, but you can certainly check it out. It does have a Bluetooth feature. You can download the programming software to program your long press keys. So if you don't like that channel down long press is your weather radio, you could program it to have it be your channel up key if you wanted. Right now, the long press for channel up turns on Bluetooth. I probably will end up programming these to change that to scan because right now there's no fast way to scan. So, but you can do that in the programming if you want to. But by and large, guys, I don't really think that's something that you need to worry about. These are very much take them out of the box, charge them up, pick a channel, and run with it. Another really cool thing about these radios, guys, is that they come in a variety of colors. You don't have to just get black. There are yellow, blue, red, I think like a green, like an OD green maybe, and then like a lime green or something. I will put a picture on the screen where you can see all the different colors that these radios come in, so that there's a lot of options there. But guys, if you were looking for an FRS radio system, or you're looking to supplement your GMRS radios with radios that are compatible with GMRS, but the person operating them doesn't have to have a license. Getting a couple of these is a great way to go. If you, are like me, where we live in, Florida, so, we have a hurricane prep kit. Something like this is great for hurricane prep kits, or, tornado prep kits. Something like these are very, very, small, so they can go, in a bug out bag, or, anything you want. Keep in mind, they are, limited range, right? FRS is limited range by design, but for what you want to use them for, they work pretty good. So I've already done an audio test with the NOAA weather radio, but I'm going to actually have this radio set on the table, and I'm going to transmit to it so that you can hear the audio test with the TIDRadio TD-M11. I'm going to get the camera set up right now for that, and then we'll do final thoughts. This is an audio test of the TD-M11 FRS radio. Test, test, test. Testing, testing, testing. Testing the audio of the TD-M11. I'm transmitting on a TD-M11, receiving on a TD-M11. TIDRadio, test, test, test. So guys, as you heard the audio, I think it's a really good sounding radio. They're plenty loud. The audio was fine. I think as far as FRS radios go, understanding the limitations of FRS, these are fantastic radios. Guys, if you want something a little more advanced, right, I did a review on the TIDRadio TD-H3, and I'm going to put a link right up here where you can check that out. And if you're looking for a GMRS radio, now keep in mind, GMRS radios require a GMRS license. You don't have to take an exam. It's not like ham radio where you have to take an exam, but you do have to pay a fee. I think that fee is $35. The license lasts for 10 years, and it covers everyone in your immediate family. So you can, and this is what we do, we use GMRS radios. So I'm the license holder, but with my wife and my son, I can hand them radios, and then we all operate under my radio license. So, that's a really, really great thing. I love GMRS, but if you don't want to pay the license fee, FRS is a great option, and I definitely recommend these TIDRadio TD-M11s. So guys, I'm Kevin with Camp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. We exist to help moms and dads take their kids camping, hiking, fishing, learn about nature, and develop a conservation ethic. We want to help you get you and your kids outside. So if you have any questions about FRS or the TIDRadio TD-M11 or communications in general, like you're trying to figure out what your best option is for radio comms, for getting outside, drop some in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. You can also connect with us on our other social media. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X, or you can connect with us at our website at campoutside.com. Again, I'm going to put links down in the description below where you can pick up the TD-M11. And guys, I want to thank TIDRadio again for sending these to me. I'm super excited about it, and I really appreciate it. Happy to work with those guys on reviewing radios. And, guys, I just want to say, I recently reviewed a radio that was sent to me from a different company. And, they sent it to me for free, and I ended up not recommending that radio. So, just a word about, some people will say, oh, well, they sent it to you for free, so you're going to sing their praises. And quite honestly, guys, everything TIDRadio has sent me has always done really well for me. So I sing their praises. Other radio companies, not so much, but I can promise you, my commitment to you is a solid review. So there are downsides to FRS, and I think that these radios suffer every downside to FRS there is. Non-detachable antennas, low power output, the inability to use repeaters, all those things. But for the radio service, designed for the radio service, these are pretty nice. So if you're looking for a pair, get a pair. If you're looking for something else, I got a whole lot of radio reviews, but check out TIDRadio, guys. Use my link. Go check out TIDRadio. I think you're going to find something there that you're going to like. So With that, I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and hit that little bell icon that notifies you when we release new videos. We got a whole lot more coming out. We do a lot of camping, hiking, and fishing content, as well as outdoor comms, gear reviews, campground reviews, a whole lot more. So we're doing a whole bunch of stuff here at Camp Outside to make sure that you have the right gear when you go out with your family. So guys, I'm Kevin with Camp Outside. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.